You can't talk about the Raiders' future without talking about Ashton Jeanty. This guy isn't just a running back. He might be the spark the silver and black have been missing for years. And today, we're diving deep into why Raider Nation has every reason to be hyped. Welcome back to the channel where it's all Raiders all day. If you bleed silver and black, this is where you belong. Before we get into today's headline story about Ashton Jeanty and how he could shape the Raiders' new offense, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a moment of Raiders news, analysis, and behind-the-scenes insights. Let's get into it. As training camp inches closer, one name keeps echoing through the Raider locker room: Ashton Jeanty. He was a beast at Boise State, fast, explosive, and nearly impossible to bring down in open space. The Raiders made a bold move drafting him, and based on early reports, it might be one of the smartest moves they've made in years. Fans were skeptical at first. Some wondered, do we really need another back? But the second he stepped onto the practice field, those doubts vanished. Genty's been turning heads with his quick cuts, vision, and raw power. Coaches are already toying with new ways to get the ball in his hands. Screens, sweeps, even lining him up in the slot. In Chip Kelly's fast-paced offense, that versatility is gold. With veterans like Geno Smith guiding the offense and Brock Bowers commanding attention at tight end, Genty is in the perfect position to thrive. He might not just fit in, he might take over. Coming up, we'll hear what his former coach at Boise State, Spencer Danielson, had to say about Genty's work ethic, leadership, and why Raider Nation should expect fireworks. But first, before we get to the inside story, pause right here. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit the bell so you're always in the loop with everything Raiders. All right, let's get back to it. Coach Danielson didn't hold back. What he revealed about Genty's mindset might just convince you that this kid is ready to become the next face of the franchise. When the Raiders called Ashton Jeanty's name at number 6 overall, the room in Green Bay went quiet, and then exploded. That wasn't just another draft pick. That was a statement. Right after the announcement, I caught up with Genty in Green Bay. He was drained, understandably so. After hours of sitting, waiting, and endless media duties, the guy looked like he'd just played a full 4 quarters. But when we spoke, even through the fatigue, you could sense something deeper. A fire, a readiness, a belief that he belonged in the NFL and with the Raiders. But what really opened my eyes was a conversation with the man who coached him through the grind, Spencer Danielson, head coach at Boise State. We met backstage during the draft chaos, just before Genty took his victory lap, through the media gauntlet. Coach Danielson didn't hype him up with cliches. He spoke with purpose. He described a player who outworked everyone, pushed through injuries without complaint, and turned film sessions into clinics. According to Danielson, Genty didn't just train to be drafted, he trained to be great. This wasn't about potential anymore, this was about arrival. And speaking of preparation, Ronnie Braxton, Genty's personal trainer, dropped some powerful insight that took this story to a whole new level. From brutal early morning workouts to laser-focused nutrition, Braxton painted the full picture of a player who's obsessed with growth. We're not just watching a talented rookie enter the Raiders' locker room. We're watching the rise of someone who could become a true leader for this team, on and off the field. Coming up next, we break down exactly how Genty fits into Chip Kelly's fast-paced offensive system, and what his presence means for Geno Smith, Brock Bowers, and the rest of the Raider offense. When Ashton Jeanty was selected 6th overall by the Raiders, his college coach, Spencer Danielson, stood there with a silver and black cap on his head and fire in his voice. "Man, I'm just fired up for him," Danielson said. "You're not just getting a football player, you're getting a culture changer." Coach Danielson watched Genty arrive at Boise State at just 17, and from day one, he saw something different. Talent? Sure. But what stood out more was his character. We always say talent sets the floor, but character sets the ceiling. Ashton's ceiling, sky high. This is the kind of guy who doesn't need to be motivated. He is motivation, a relentless worker grounded by his military family roots and built with discipline that's impossible to coach. According to Danielson, it's that internal wiring that's going to make Genty a force the moment he steps into the Raiders' facility. And on the field, he's a matchup nightmare. Over 1,700 yards after contact last season. You read that right. Try to tackle him high, he'll truck you like a freight train. Come in low, he'll cut and be gone before you blink. Linebackers, toast, corners, better be elite. He's not just a back, he's a weapon. Out of the backfield, in the slot, on returns. Danielson said, if the Raiders line him up wide, defenses better respond fast, or they'll pay the price. But what Raider Nation doesn't know yet, what they'll discover soon, is who Genty is off the field. A phenomenal human being, Danielson said. Respectful, humble, obsessively focused on improving. The kind of guy who lifts the whole locker room. This isn't just a draft pick. This is the kind of player who reshapes a team's identity. And if you're a Raiders fan, get ready. Because Ashton Jeanty is about to bring the fire to Las Vegas. Ashton Jeanty isn't just here to play. He's here to lead. And if you ask his former coach Spencer Danielson, it's not a question of if he'll become the face of the Raiders. It's when. He's going to light up the locker room, Danielson said. He'll have fun, dance after touchdowns, and make people smile. But don't mistake that for softness. When it's time to grind, he doesn't flinch. This is a team-first guy, the kind of player whose energy lifts an entire roster. Teammates naturally gravitate toward him, not because he demands attention, but because his presence commands respect. In an era where players jump schools for bigger checks and easier paths, Genty stayed loyal to Boise State. No transfer, no shortcuts. That's rare. It speaks volumes. He never chased money or headlines, said Danielson. He chased greatness. And now, the mission continues in Las Vegas. Being drafted at number 6 was just the beginning. He's aiming higher. Offensive Rookie of the Year is on his radar. And if you think that's just talk, you don't know Genty. The work ethic, the competitiveness, the daily grind, he lives for it. There's something magnetic about him. Everyone's pulling for him. Coaches, fans, teammates, even opponents respect him. Why? Because he brings fire to every practice, humility to every moment, and sacrifice to every rep. In a league full of noise, Ashton Jeanty lets his efforts speak loudest. And Raider Nation is about to hear him loud and clear. Ashton Jeanty doesn't just compete, he lives to win. Whether it's on the field, in the film room, or even during a friendly shoot-around, he brings the same fire. During his private pre-draft visit, he told coaches he dominated the basketball challenge. "I've got a jumper," he said with a grin. But it wasn't about the shot. It was about the mindset. Everything, every moment, is a chance to compete. His former coach, Spencer Danielson, couldn't stop smiling when he said it. If you challenge Ashton to a game of checkers, you better bring your A game. That's who he is, obsessed with excellence, addicted to growth, and never afraid of the work that most shy away from. That's exactly why pairing him with head coach Pete Carroll in Las Vegas could be a dream scenario. The energy, the accountability, the fun, yes, there will be plenty of that. But once that ball is snapped, Genty flips a switch. And Raider Nation, you're going to see a different kind of number, 2 in that backfield. Coach Danielson also reflected on what Genty meant to Boise State, and it says everything about what he'll bring to the Raiders. While others chased easy exits and short-term glory, Genty stayed locked in on development. His discipline helped the program rise to national prominence, even cracking the top 10 and making back-to-back college football playoff appearances. And now, the same drive, the same leadership, the same refusal to cut corners is heading to Las Vegas. This isn't just about what Genty can do. It's about what he will do, and Raider Nation is about to witness it firsthand. When the Raiders made Ashton Jeanty the 6th overall pick, it wasn't just a career milestone, it was the end of one journey and the beginning of a bigger one. Backstage at the draft, moments after walking off the podium, Genty looked calm, focused, and ready. I caught him for a brief conversation, and you could already feel it. This wasn't just a kid living a dream. This was a Raider stepping into his destiny. "It sounds amazing," Genty said, cracking a smile when asked how it feels to be called a Las Vegas Raider. "It's got a nice ring to it." There was relief in his voice, a deep breath after years of preparation. But right behind that was hunger. The journey to the draft was over, but the mission was just starting. His former coach Spencer Danielson had just finished embracing him in the back room. No cameras, no media, just a quiet exchange between two men who knew how much this moment meant. Stay focused, keep working. That's all Genty needed to hear. So, what is Raider Nation getting in Ashton Jeanty? You're getting a player who loves this game, heart, soul, and all. You're getting a competitor who's fearless, who refuses to be stopped, and who understands what it means to wear the silver and black. This isn't just a draft pick. This is a player who could change the way the Raiders play football. This is the beginning of something big. Ashton Jeanty hasn't even played a snap yet, and he already feels like a Raider. He's not just excited to play in Las Vegas, he's ready to embrace everything that comes with it. The energy from the fans, man, it's unreal, Genty said with a grin. Raider Nation brings that fire every single game. That's what I love. We the bad boys, and I'm built for that. He's already suited up in Allegiant Stadium before during college, but now, it hits different. I've scored a few touchdowns on that grass, he said. Why not go back and score a whole lot more? That confidence isn't hype, it's earned. And the fact that Genty already connects with the culture, the fans, and the legacy of the silver and black. That says everything. As our quick conversation wrapped up, I asked him if he had a message for Raider Nation. He didn't hesitate. Just win, baby. Short. Legendary. Pure Raiders. This connection between Genty and the fan base is real. You can see it, hear it, feel it. He's not just another draft pick. He's stepping into the silver and black with purpose, pride, and passion. And while the journey is just beginning, one thing is clear. Ashton Jeanty isn't here to blend in. He's here to stand out. Next, we pull back the curtain even further. What kind of preparation goes into building a beast like Genty? I spoke with the man behind the grind, his personal trainer, and what he revealed may surprise you. Before Ashton Jeanty ever put on a Raiders jersey, before the fans cheered his name or he stepped onto the grass at Allegiant Stadium, he was deep in the grind. And behind that relentless work ethic, one man, Ronnie Braxton, Genty's personal trainer. In the next 2 segments, we take you inside the preparation, the mindset, and the work it took to turn a high-potential athlete into a top 10 NFL draft pick. This isn't just weightlifting and conditioning. This is mental discipline, precision training, and full-body transformation. Part 1 of that powerful conversation is coming up in the next segment. Then, we'll wrap it all up with Part 2. Giving you the full picture of what it takes to build a player who's ready to make an impact on day 1 for the silver and black. This is the kind of behind-the-scenes story that shows why Genty is different, and it's exactly the kind of preparation the Raiders need if they want to return to greatness. Let's pull back the curtain. To understand what makes Ashton Jeanty different, you need to hear from the man who's seen his evolution up close, Ronnie Braxton, his personal trainer based out of Dallas-Fort Worth. I had the chance to sit down with him for a powerful interview that explains why Genty is already wired for success in the NFL. Braxton didn't sugarcoat anything. I've been training athletes for 24 years, he said. At this level, most of them need constant reminders to stay consistent with the little things. Ashton, he shows up ready every single time. From day 1, Genty treated training like a job. Stretching routines, warm-ups, prehab work, even things as small as foam rolling. He didn't cut corners. He respected the process. And that's what sets him apart. He understands the body needs phases. Off-season, pre-season, recovery, growth. Every moment has a purpose. He's entering the NFL with a mindset most veterans take years to figure out, Braxton said. For Raider Nation, this should be music to your ears. Genty isn't just coming in with talent, he's coming in with discipline. He's already thinking like a pro, moving like a pro, and preparing for a long, successful career. This is the kind of foundation that builds not just a good rookie season, but a legacy. Up next in Part 2, the intensity behind Genty's off-season routine, and why his training days look more like boot camp than workouts. When Ronnie Braxton talks about Ashton Jeanty, he doesn't just speak as a trainer, he speaks as someone who's witnessed the making of a rare competitor. Genty isn't just disciplined, he's locked in. He walks in already paying attention, Braxton said. That's what separates him. It's a trait that comes from deep roots. His father's military background helped shape that mindset. Respect, routine, accountability. These weren't things he learned in the weight room. They were part of his foundation at home. But Braxton made an important point. Sometimes that much discipline can make a player rigid, robotic, but not Genty. He's learned to balance structure with creativity. He knows how to follow direction, but also when to trust his instincts. That's what makes him dangerous. More than just a football player, Genty brings character. He enters a room with quiet intensity and strong values. Integrity, humility, purpose. That's what makes him special, Braxton said. He's a good man before he's a great athlete. That's what the Raiders are getting. Not just a guy who can bulldoze through linebackers, but a culture changer, a tone setter, someone who raises the standard without saying a word. And then there's the work ethic, the kind you can't fake. Braxton recalled viral clips of Genty training in the rain, pushing sleds through puddles, grinding through relentless drills. That wasn't for social media. That was every day. He trains like he's already in the Super Bowl, Braxton said. He wants Offensive Rookie of the Year, and if he keeps this up, don't be surprised when he gets it. When Ashton Jeanty's trainer talks about adversity, he's not speaking in metaphors. He means actual storms, freezing rain, and 115-degree heat. That's how they train. That's how they prepare for Sundays in the NFL. Ronnie Braxton has been developing NFL talent for over 2 decades, and when asked why Genty trains in harsh conditions, cold, wet, blazing hot, he didn't hesitate. Because the NFL doesn't care about the weather. The lights are always on. You either adapt or you fall behind. That's why, on a freezing day in Texas, when storms rolled through and most athletes would have stayed indoors, Genty stepped outside, shirt off, socks off, no excuses. It does no good to wear gear in that kind of rain, Braxton said. It just weighs you down. We know the surface, we've trained on it. There are no rocks, no hazards, just challenge. And challenge is the point. Braxton builds these workouts to mimic the extremes. Blistering heat in July, ice-cold winds in March. He calls it training with the lights on, and for good reason. It prepares the body and the mind to be unshakable. For Raider Nation, this matters. Because come fourth quarter in Denver, or a primetime showdown in January, Ashton Jeanty won't be thinking about the weather. He'll already be used to it. This is how you train someone not just to survive in the NFL, but to lead in it. The Raiders didn't just draft a player, they drafted a warrior. And in a league that breaks the unprepared, Genty is already storm-tested. When Ronnie Braxton talks about Ashton Jeanty, he doesn't just describe a player, he builds a myth, and for good reason. Now in a Raiders offense guided by Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, Braxton believes Genty is walking into the perfect storm. Chip recruited my own son years ago, he said, and to see him now working with Ashton, it's a match made in heaven. Braxton was especially impressed with how Kelly coached Genty through a stance adjustment, switching into a basketball-style posture to improve his burst and fluidity. It was quick, smart, and effective. That kind of detail, that's the sign of a great coach and a player who can adapt fast. But what really lights Braxton up is talking about Genty's route running, and here's the part that'll make Raider Nation sit up. He runs better routes than most elite wide receivers, Braxton said without hesitation. I've been around Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. I've seen them all. Genty, he's right there. That's not hype. That's Braxton putting Genty's skill set in the company of NFL greats and meaning it. And when asked if there's a single player he'd compare Genty to, Braxton laughed. You can't compare him to one guy. He's a gorilla for power, a cheetah for speed, a bird for agility, a honey badger for toughness, and a hippo for balance. That's the kind of player the Raiders just drafted. Not a specialist, not a system guy. A hybrid weapon with traits pulled from every corner of the animal kingdom. This isn't just a player with upside. This is a player ready to break molds. When Ronnie Braxton describes Ashton Jeanty, he doesn't compare him to another player. He doesn't even compare him to another human. You want to understand Genty, Braxton says, you got to go animalistic. And then he paints a picture that Raider Nation won't forget. Gorilla chest for sheer strength, Eagle eyes for scanning the field, cheetah feet for breakaway speed, honey badger aggression, vicious, relentless hippo bite force, unstoppable in contact, wolf-like awareness, and bear-like instinct. In Braxton's words, this isn't a man playing football, this is survival. And when it comes to survival, no man can outmatch a gorilla. That's the mindset Genty brings into every snap. He's not just here to compete, he's here to dominate. Braxton also praised Raiders coaches Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, saying their guidance will unlock Genty's full arsenal. He particularly highlighted a stance change Chip made with Genty, refining his technique without dimming his explosiveness. That was elite coaching, Braxton said, and Genty didn't push back, he adapted. Fast, that's rare. The bottom line, Ashton Jeanty is a rare mix of instincts, adaptability, and animal-like explosiveness. He's not here to be like anyone else in the NFL. He's here to change it. In today's game, loyalty is rare. So, when Ashton Jeanty chose to stay at Boise State instead of chasing money through the transfer portal or NIL offers, it said everything about who he is, not just as a player, but as a man. According to his trainer Ronnie Braxton, schools from all over the country came knocking. Coaches met him in person. Offers were real. Big-name programs, big money, big stages. But Genty didn't budge. He called me early last January, Braxton said. We talked it out. We weighed the pros and cons, and in the end, Ashton made the call to stay. That was all him. Braxton believed it was the right move, not just for loyalty's sake, but for legacy. He controlled the entire narrative at Boise. I told him, you stay, and you'll go to the college football playoff. You'll be up for the Heisman. And he believed it. More than that, he manifested it. And Genty delivered. He took Boise State to the edge of college football's highest stage. He played like a Heisman, but in the end, the award didn't go his way. They took it from him, Braxton said bluntly. If Travis Hunter hadn't been that electric, going both ways, Ashton would have walked away with it, no doubt in my mind. That chip on his shoulder, that will carry straight into his rookie year with the Las Vegas Raiders. Genty didn't stay at Boise for comfort. He stayed to finish what he started. And now, he's coming to the NFL with the same mindset. Bet on yourself. Stay loyal. Prove everything. Ronnie Braxton doesn't hesitate. If Travis Hunter lines up across from Ashton Jeanty, he says, he's toast. According to Braxton, Genty isn't just more explosive than most rookies. He's more complete, better hands, crisper routes, faster reactions after the catch. Travis Hunter can't cover Ashton, Braxton adds. Nobody can. Not for long, but the real magic didn't start under the stadium lights. It began off-season when no one was watching. Braxton, who's trained elite athletes for over 2 decades, explained why he's spent his life preparing players like Genty for greatness. There are 20 weeks outside the NFL calendar. If you use them right, lock in on nutrition, sleep, recovery, and detail like Brady used to, you don't just survive the league, you shape it. Braxton has studied from legends, absorbing knowledge from the likes of Isaac Bruce and Alonzo Highsmith, and combined it with sports science and practical grit. But Genty? He's the rare player who actually listens. He pays attention to things others ignore. He doesn't waste reps. He doesn't waste minutes. That's what separates a rookie from a Raider legend in the making. And that's what Las Vegas is getting. Not just another athlete, a product of precision, grit, and unmatched work ethic, built in the shadows and now ready for the spotlight. By the time Ashton Jeanty stepped into the Raiders facility, he was already a pro. Ronnie Braxton knew it. He'd seen it from day one. I got Ashton in high school, Braxton recalled. Even then, he was showing habits most NFL guys still don't have. Braxton's training ground in Texas is no ordinary field. It's where grit is sculpted into greatness. His own sons are tearing it up across college football, and Genty grew up training alongside them. The competition was real, but the work ethic, that's what separated Ashton. I couldn't even punish him during drills, Braxton laughed. He didn't make mistakes, so I started punishing his sleep. If he slipped once, I'd move his wake-up time from 5 a.m. to 4:30. That's who Ashton Jeanty is, a relentless, disciplined machine, wired to outwork everyone in the building. Even sleep became a tool to sharpen his edge. And Braxton is firm in his belief. The Heisman? That should have been Genty's. Not because others didn't deserve recognition, but because no one carried a team quite like Ashton did. Over 2,600 yards, college football playoff. The definition of dominance. He's not just going to lead with talent, Braxton added. He's going to lead with character. He's going to make the Raiders better the moment he walks in. And Raider Nation? They just inherited a star who's been ready long before draft day.